At my daughter's kindergarten graduation, my mother-in-law took the stage and gave a speech without asking. "I raised her when her mother was too busy posting on Instagram," she said into the mic. I stood there holding back tears. My husband whispered, "Don't ruin this." After the ceremony, I found out she'd signed up as the emergency guardian on my daughter's school forms without telling me. I went straight to the office with legal ID and a lawyer's letter. They called her while I was there. Her screaming still echoed in that lobby. My daughter Riley had her kindergarten graduation 2 weeks ago in Littleton, Colorado. She's 6, sweet as can be, and the light of my life. She was so excited to walk across that little stage, wearing her tiny cap and gown, holding the paper diploma she made out of construction paper and glitter glue. I had no idea that day would be the beginning of a full-on war. Let me back up. I'm 33, married to Greg, my husband of 7 years. We've had our share of ups and downs, like most couples. He works in logistics. I run a small home-based business that includes an online shop and, yes, I use social media, mostly Instagram, to drive traffic and connect with customers. I make and sell custom wreaths, home signs, and crafts.
It's not just a side gig.
It pays bills. And I work my ass off doing it while raising a kid. Greg's mom, Janice, has always acted like she was Riley's third parent. It started small. Offering to babysit, buying clothes without asking, showing up uninvited. Then it turned into criticizing how I dressed Riley, what I packed in her lunchbox, and how I wasn't present enough because I had my phone out all the time. She never says these things when Greg's around. Only when we're alone. Or she'll say it in a fake sweet voice that makes it sound like a joke. She's lucky she has me when mommy's busy being an influencer, she once said in front of Riley. I tried not to let it get to me, but I should have seen it coming. Back to the graduation. We were in the gymnasium. Cute little decorations everywhere. The kids sang 2 songs, and then the principal spoke. We were clapping, tearing up, feeling proud. And then it happened. Janice walked onto the stage. At first I thought maybe she was just bringing Riley something she forgot. But no. She took the mic out of the principal's hands like she had every right to be there. And she said, right into the microphone, in front of the whole crowd, "I just want to say how proud I am of Riley. I've been here for every step of the way, especially when her mother was too busy posting on Instagram to raise her." Dead silence. Then a couple people laughed. Some thought it was a joke. But I knew better. She meant every word. That wasn't a joke. That was a calculated hit. I stood up. My hands were shaking. Greg leaned in and whispered, "Don't ruin this." Like it was my fault. So I sat down. I was humiliated, furious, and worst of all, I couldn't even defend myself. Not without making a scene at my daughter's graduation. Afterward, Janice acted like nothing happened. Like she hadn't just stabbed me in the back in front of an entire school. I went home and cried in the bathroom for almost an hour. The next day, I went to the school office to sign Riley up for a summer program. While there, I asked to confirm who they had listed as emergency contacts. The woman behind the desk pulled up Riley's file. "Oh, you and your husband and Janice Miller listed as emergency guardian. She's authorized to pick Riley up and make decisions in an emergency." I froze.
What?
That's not right. She's not a legal guardian. She came in with a note a while back. Said you both had approved it. I demanded to see the form. It wasn't even signed by me. It was her handwriting, her words. I was livid. My signature was nowhere on it. I left that school shaking with rage and called my lawyer immediately. We put together a packet: Riley's birth certificate, my ID, marriage license, and a notarized letter revoking Janice's authority on any school records. My lawyer included a cease and desist on further attempts to act as a legal guardian. 2 hours later, I was back in the school office with all the documents. The secretary and principal looked nervous, but professional. They took everything, made copies, and assured me they'd remove Janice from all records. Then I said, "I want you to call her now and let her know she's no longer authorized. And I want to be here when you do."
They did.
They put her on speaker. Hi, Janice. This is Sharon at Jefferson Elementary. I just wanted to let you know we've updated Riley's emergency contact information, and you're no longer listed as a guardian or pickup person. Then came the explosion. What? What the hell are you talking about? She screamed through the phone. I am her guardian. That girl barely parents. You're just going to believe her over me? This is based on legal documentation, the principal said calmly. You're making a huge mistake. She's unstable. She's trying to shut me out. No, Janice, I said, leaning toward the speaker. I'm making sure you never have a chance to pull something like this again. She lost it. You ungrateful bitch. After everything I've done for that child. Everyone in the office went silent. You could hear a pin drop. I looked the principal dead in the eye and said, if she steps foot on school property without my permission, call the police. That's trespassing. They nodded. No questions asked. I walked out of there feeling like I could breathe for the first time in months. But that was only step one. Janice wasn't done. And neither was I. After the school incident, I didn't hear from Janice for a few days. Greg didn't bring it up either. I thought maybe, just maybe, she realized she'd gone too far. But I should have known better. On Saturday morning, I woke up to a wall of text messages from friends, neighbors, even old coworkers. All saying the same thing. Hey, just saw Janice's post. You okay? She's saying some stuff about you on Facebook. Pretty harsh. Do you want me to report it? I opened the app and searched her name. She'd made a public post. Tagged Greg. Tagged people from her church. Even teachers from Riley's school. And there it was. It breaks my heart to see what my son's wife is doing to our family. She's taken Riley from me, erased me from school records, and now claims I'm unfit. All because I told the truth. I've raised Riley since birth while her mom focused on selfies, parties, and building a brand. I'm sharing this because the truth matters, and I won't be silenced. The post had 183 comments. Half were supportive. Old ladies from her Bible study saying things like, "You're such a strong grandma," and "That child is lucky to have you." Others were more cautious. A few even said, "This seems like something that should stay private." But the damage was done. Greg still hadn't said a word.
So I went to him.
You saw her post? I asked. He nodded. And, I don't want to get in the middle, he said. You're in the middle, Greg. This is your mother calling me a neglectful mom in front of the whole town. She's just hurt. I snapped.
No.
She's manipulating everyone. She's attacking me publicly. And you're just standing there letting it happen. He walked out of the room. Later that night, I checked Riley's iPad. Yes, I check. She's 6. There were messages on her Messenger Kids app. From Janice. I miss you. Mommy is keeping us apart. I'll come get you soon. Don't tell Mommy. My heart dropped. I called my lawyer the next morning. We added that to the file. He advised I file for restraining order, not just against Janice, but to legally limit contact with Riley. When I told Greg, he looked shocked. You're filing a restraining order against my mother? She's messaging our child behind my back. That's manipulation. That's a threat. He shook his head. This is insane. No, Greg. What's insane is me being the only one willing to protect our daughter. That night, he didn't sleep in our bed. The next week was court. Janice showed up, of course. In full drama mode. Dressed like she was attending a funeral. Crying before the judge even asked a question. She lied. Said I was emotionally unstable. Claimed I once left Riley home alone, which never happened. Claimed I disappeared for hours to take Instagram photos. I had evidence. I had phone logs, receipts, videos. My lawyer shredded her. When the judge ruled in my favor and granted a restraining order, including no digital contact, Janice screamed in the hallway again. You're tearing this family apart. I looked her straight in the eye. No. You did that the moment you tried to take my daughter from me. But the worst wasn't over. The night after the court hearing, Greg didn't come home. He didn't call. Didn't text. At 1:12 a.m., I finally got a message. I'm staying at Mom's for a while. I need space. She'd pulled him in. I knew it, but I wasn't going down without a fight. This wasn't just about Janice anymore. It was about my marriage, my child, and the quiet, careful war was about to become very public. The morning after Greg left, I sat at the kitchen table staring at my cold coffee. Riley was still asleep upstairs. The silence in the house felt suffocating. By noon, my sister Jenny came over. She didn't say, "I told you so," but I could see it in her face. She never liked Greg. Always said he had a weak spine when it came to his mother. I showed her the messages from Janice, the court order, everything. She said, "You need to prepare yourself. He might not come back." I shook my head. He wouldn't leave, Riley. She gave me a look. You sure about that? 2 days later, I found out what she meant. Greg filed for temporary custody. The papers were delivered to my door by a process server. I almost threw up when I saw them. He claimed I was creating an emotionally unstable environment for Riley, that I acted irrationally and unilaterally removed his mother from our daughter's life, that I retaliated against his family with legal aggression. There was a hearing scheduled in 10 days. That same night, I got a call from one of the moms at Riley's school, Lisa, someone I barely knew. She said, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know there's a rumor going around that CPS is getting involved."
What?
Janice's friend works at the church food bank. She said Janice told people you're being investigated. No one from CPS had contacted me.
Not yet.
But the fear set in. I checked the security cameras, checked Riley's tablet again, changed all our passwords. I felt like a criminal in my own home, waiting for someone to knock on the door and take my kid away. The next day, it happened. A woman from Child Protective Services showed up. She was polite.
Calm.
But she had to walk through every room in my house, had to interview Riley alone, had to ask me questions about my mental health, drug use, financial situation. I cooperated. I had nothing to hide, but I knew exactly who triggered it. 2 days later, CPS cleared me. No signs of abuse, neglect, or concern. But the fact that someone used the system to rattle me made my blood boil. That night, I went into Greg's old closet, looked through his things. Noticed some of his personal files were missing. Old tax returns, legal documents, a USB drive we kept with backup family photos and videos.
Gone.
He wasn't just staying with Janice. He was planning something. And then it got worse. At Riley's next school drop-off, the principal pulled me aside. "We had a call yesterday from someone claiming you'd been arrested." "What?" "They said Riley might need to be picked up early. But when we checked, nothing came up." I'm only telling you this because it's starting to feel targeted. I stood there, stunned. Someone, probably Janice, was trying to create a paper trail. To make me look unstable, unfit, dangerous. They were laying groundwork for something. I walked straight out of that school, got in my car, and drove to my lawyer's office again. "I want full custody," I told him. "And I want Greg out of my life permanently." He nodded. "Then we're going to need to go scorched earth." We filed the motion for full custody the next morning. My lawyer told me, "This won't be clean. If your husband wants to fight, it'll get ugly." I didn't care. They made it ugly the second they brought CPS into my house under false claims. I was done playing nice. That same week, I got an email from a reporter. Subject line: "Allegations against local mother spark school debate." The message was short. "Hi, this is Caroline from the Littleton Beacon. We received anonymous information about a custody dispute involving inappropriate online behavior and possible school policy violations. Would you like to provide a statement?" My heart stopped. I called her immediately. Turns out, someone had sent screenshots of my Instagram posts, photos of me in workout clothes, pool selfies from last summer, a few wine nights with my sister, and claimed I was endangering Riley by exposing her to adult content and unstable parenting. They even attached a photo of me holding a wine glass with Riley in the background. The reporter hadn't run the story yet. She wanted to hear my side. I told her everything. Sent her court records, the restraining order, the the CPS report clearing me. She listened, but I could hear it in her voice. This was bigger than me now. Janice had escalated her game into public warfare. I thought about hiding, locking my accounts, going silent, but instead I made my own post. I didn't name names. I didn't rant. I posted a picture of Riley's drawing from school. A little stick figure family, me, her, and our 2 dogs. She'd written, "Mommy keeps me safe." Then I wrote this. When you're a mom, people will judge you no matter what you do. But the truth is in what your child sees. And she sees a mom who shows up, who protects her, who loves her more than anything in this world. That post blew up. People shared it,
Commented. Supported me.
and just like that, the tide started to shift. But Janice wasn't finished. 2 nights later, my neighbor Pete came over. He's a quiet guy, retired Army,
Keeps to himself mostly.
but he'd always been polite. He said, "I thought you should know. There was a woman parked across the street in a silver Buick yesterday. Sat there for 2 hours. Didn't get out. Just watched the house." My blood ran cold. "Did you get a plate?" "Already gave it to my cousin on the force. It's registered to Janice Miller."
She was stalking us now.
The next day, I filed a police report. That same night, I installed new cameras, floodlights, and I slept with a bat under my bed. But it didn't end there. The next morning, Riley told me something that made my heart stop. Daddy said I might come live with him soon. I knelt down. When did he say that? He called me on Grandma's phone. She said not to tell. Despite the restraining order, they were still reaching her. I texted Greg, "We're going back to court. You just violated the order." His response? "Do what you need to do. Riley will choose who she wants soon enough." I realized then he wasn't just siding with his mother. He was letting her run him. And together, they were trying to take my daughter away completely. But I had something neither of them did. The truth. And I was about to use it like a weapon. After I caught Greg and Janice breaking the restraining order, I pushed hard for the next court date. My lawyer moved fast. He filed an emergency motion and demanded a hearing within days. I gathered everything. Recordings of Riley talking about the secret calls, screenshots of the messages, the report from my neighbor about Janice stalking the house, the CPS visit triggered by lies, the fake emergency calls to the school. I printed out copies of everything, labeled each piece of evidence. By the time we walked into the courtroom, I was ready for war. Janice and Greg were there already. Janice wore a beige dress and pearls, like she thought this was a church brunch. Greg looked hollow.
Pale.
He didn't even look at me. The judge was no nonsense. A woman in her 60s who'd clearly seen too much of this kind of family drama. She asked straight questions, gave little reaction. I watched Janice lie again, pretending she only reached out to Riley out of concern, pretending she never meant harm, that she thought Riley was in danger. Then I took the stand. I laid out everything.
Slowly. Clearly.
I held back tears. I didn't scream. I let the facts hit harder than my voice ever could. The judge flipped through the photos, texts, and reports. At one point, she stopped and looked directly at Janice. "Are you aware that this kind of behavior could be considered psychological abuse of a minor?" Janice didn't answer. "And, Mr. Miller," the judge turned to Greg, "do you realize you violated a court order by facilitating that contact?" He opened his mouth, closed it, then said, "I didn't think it was that serious." The judge nodded. "It's serious now." She ruled that Janice was to have no contact with Riley for at least 2 years. Not by phone, not by social media, not through Greg, not even through a birthday card. If she tried, she'd be arrested for violating the court order. Then she turned to Greg. "You may request supervised visitation, but for now, custody belongs solely to the mother. If you continue to undermine court orders or expose your daughter to emotional manipulation, you will lose all visitation rights." Greg didn't even argue. I walked out of that courtroom holding the papers in my hand, feeling like I could breathe again. But here's the truth. I didn't win clean. In protecting Riley, I lost my marriage. I lost trust. I lost years of pretending my family was fine. And part of me still hates that it had to go this far. That it became this ugly. But I don't regret a second of it. Because now Riley sleeps without fear. She laughs without being told her mother is a narcissist. She doesn't get dragged into adult games she can't understand. And Janice? Her reputation is gone. Her church friend stopped speaking to her after the Facebook post backfired. She was asked to step down from the PTA she volunteered at for another school. She still tries, from what I hear. Still complains. Still plays the victim. But no one's listening anymore. As for Greg, he moved in with a coworker. His relationship with Riley is shaky. I allow short, supervised visits at a center now and then, but Riley asks to leave early most days. I made mistakes. I stayed quiet too long. I let people walk over me to keep the peace. I let my husband choose silence over support. But not anymore. Now, I choose war when it's needed. And I won.